Excellent question. Dies while driving. The answer is it depends. Commonly, it dies while driving hot, not so much cold. Commonly, it dies while driving at the base of a off-ramp or something like that, or when you're coming up to a stoplight. Basically, it dies while driving when your engine is slowing down on RPMs. And what's happening is the high-pressure oil pump is not being able to keep up with the engine's requirements. You need 500 psi to start it. You also need 500 psi to keep it running. So if you have monitoring gauges, I really like this gauge in the background here. Buy it from us, FICMRepair.com. The Edge Insight CTS3, but there's other ones. There's far less expensive ones too. There's Bluetooth ones that we carry for like $30-40, right? This is just the Cadillac here, so this will answer all your questions. Its life is good. But probably what you're going to see is your IPR, your injection pressure regulator duty cycle. And by the way, if you have an SCT tuner, they mislabel it. They call it an ICP duty cycle for whatever reason. But at any rate, it is IPR duty cycle. Probably what you're going to see is that before it dies, that duty cycle is going up and up and up and up and up. It's going to hit 85%, and then your truck's going to die. So 85% is fully open. It's saying, I'm giving it all I can, Scotty, to use a Star Trek reference, right? And the pump's just not keeping up, probably because you've got a leak somewhere in the plumbing of the high-pressure oil system. Now, if you have a late-build truck, it probably is indeed a standpipe, a snap-to-connect fitting, a dummy plug, something like that. If you have an earlier build truck, it might just be, the high-pressure oil pump itself, and you can figure that out through a leak test, through an air leak test, through your IPR valve, if you wanted. But to rule in or rule out high-pressure oil, an IPR valve duty cycle check would be the name of the game. If you don't own that tool and you want to put compressed air in your system through your IPR valve, that's the best way to do an air test. A second, which is not as good, but it's better than nothing, is to go ahead and do an air test through the ICP sensor port. And you can just get fittings at your local, whatever to make that happen, the local hardware store. Or you can just go ahead and hop on FICMRepair.com and buy the air test tool. I'll show you that. So this bad boy just spins in right to where the IPR is, and it's available for sale and rent on FICMRepair.com, and you can go ahead and check things out that way. But going back to the gauge conversation, if you had gauges, that would be the better way, because you actually see what's going on through live data. So you get one of these, and or your SCTX4, your LiveWire, 4Scan, or Torque Pro, or whatever you want to use, and you can actually see what your duty cycle of your IPR is to figure that out. You can also go ahead and pull codes, and you may have codes for for things that are related to your high pressure oil system. So it's like a 2285 code or a 2290 code, something like that. Or you could potentially, it's less common, but it actually could be a FICM. If you have a U0105 code, lost communication with FICM, or a P0611 FICM performance, that can be the case as well. I will tell you, if you keep on cranking the crap out of this truck, you're going to be my customer for the FICM, and I don't want that for you, because inadequate supply side voltage kills FICMs, and the amount of juice it takes to get your starter to spin over is substantial. And so don't wait too long to get this fixed, and then figure it out. And then if you do indeed, if I'm right about this, and you do indeed have a high pressure oil system issue, I suppose it's possible it could be a shorted wire, right? In the wire harness, it's just a lot less common. But if I'm right about it being a high pressure oil system issue, then you've got to ask yourself the religious question. You say, hey, what do I want to do while I'm in there? Do I want to change out the dummy plugs, the standpipes, the injector cup nipples and their corresponding O-rings? Do I want to upgrade to the diesel site ones if it's a late build truck? Do I want to go with a one piece? Yeah. Do you want to go with, if you're an early build truck, do you want to go and just change out the standpipes and call it a day? Or do you want to have no oil leaks later and get your valve cover gaskets replaced? Or if it's an early build truck, do you want to just change out that H-pop and the J-tube to go with it? If it's a late build truck, I know you're tempted to do the snap to connect fitting because it's less money, but if you've got more than, I'll call it 180-ish thousand miles on your original high pressure oil pump, that pump doesn't owe you any favors. I had an 06 F250 last year of mine, my little fleet of 6.0s that left me on the side of the road, 220-something thousand miles, and it just died, and it was not anything other than the H-pop. So don't be thinking that just because you've got the new style H-pop that can't be the problem. But hopefully this gives you some places to look, and you can ask yourself, also down the path of high pressure oil, are you having other symptoms? Like, is it a no start hot? Does it start again after it cools down a little bit? Or are you if this is an automatic or I guess you could do this in a manual too. If you're in a high gear, if you're in sixth gear or you're in overdrive and you're automatic and you're going like 50, 55 miles an hour, so just barely got into overdrive, and all you're trying to do is maintain speed up that grade, and it's bucketing and carrying on, but you manually downshift the truck, and all of a sudden the bucketing and carrying on stops, and it works, and now it purrs like a kitten. Well, you've just asked more of your FICM because it's signaling more often, but your high pressure oil pump is spinning faster because it spins in time with the motor, and all of a sudden, like magic sauce, your issue goes away. Well, that's high pressure oil, and it's either a leak or a weak pump. These are the options. So I hope this helps. Excellent question. Keep them coming. And you can buy everything and anything you could possibly think to ask for your Power Stroke on FICMRepair.com, and we haven't beat on price in 15 years. Like, subscribe, share, repost. If you're not yet subscribed to me on YouTube, I'm just FICMRepair on YouTube as well. And let's take care of each other. All right, FICMRepair.com. We're all in this together. Thanks, guys.